Well, she's an iconic figure in the comic book world and is now making a huge splash on the big screen. We are, of course, talking about Wonder Woman. Our next guest had a vital role in the movie, stepping into the legendary costume to help bring the character to light. Zoe Shelley played the stand-in for Gal Gadot, helping with lighting and camera angles. And Zoe joins us from Ottawa. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Zoe, you are a personal trainer in London, England. How did you arrive at playing an Amazonian warrior in Wonder Woman?
It was completely by chance. It was actually a client of mine who was temping at the casting agency that was casting for this role. And she came in one day and she said, look, there's this project. It's a big Hollywood film. They're looking for tall, dark, athletic women for an action, not an acting role. And you should apply. And so that was about as much information as she gave. And so on a whim, I did. And it wasn't until a couple of months of auditions down the line that I found out it was, in fact, Wonder Woman.
Now, you've talked about the months of physical training and boot camps for this role. It's an incredible scene, this beach scene that we just showed on our show. But I would have just assumed a woman you're in such good shape, you wouldn't need to go through that training. But talk to me about why you needed to go through the training.
Well, it was really important to the producers right from the beginning that the film be as authentic as possible and that it really be believable that these Amazons would die on the battlefield for one another because we had died in training for one another. So the suffering was really quite intense. We went to some pretty dark places, physically, emotionally, mentally. But the sisterhood that was formed as a result of that process was really quite remarkable. And some of those girls will be friends of mine for life.
I want to talk about that sisterhood as well, because this movie is being celebrated for so many reasons, not the least of which it's an amazing movie. But the fact that there are so many strong women in the cast, directed by a woman, what did it mean for you to be part of this experience?
It was something I was incredibly proud of. And I mean, it was a bit like an alternate reality working on this film because I mean, there were some real goosebump moments for me when I was standing on that beach in Italy surrounded by 100-odd really gifted, really talented, strong women dressed head to toe in this Amazonian battle gear. And then on top of that, you had Patty and Gal and some of the other lead actresses who were all there with their families. And it was actually the husbands who would bring their kids down to the beach in the strollers and make sandcastles with them while the mums were working. And it was bizarre. And it's a shame in a way that that still is a surprising scenario and a bizarre one, but nevertheless it was. But hopefully something that, you know, that alternate reality will become less alternate in the future.
So you play this role as one of the Amazonians on the beach, but then you also had another role of being the stand-in for Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Yeah. How did that come to be, and what was it like donning the costume?
Well, it happened actually because I got injured on a day off during filming, and so I couldn't be on camera, so I was what was called a stand-in. And a stand-in is less glamorous maybe than it sounds. And a lot of people, they jump straight from stand-in to stunt double, which I wish, but they're actually very, very different things. A stand-in is all off-camera work. So when they're setting up the scenes, the lighting, the camera angles, the director's got to figure out where everyone is going to stand and how they're going to move. They need people who look like the main cast to literally stand in, so that when the actresses come down to set, they can see how the scene has been set up, where they've got to move, and they can get straight into filming. And because I have a similar build to Gal, I'm a similar color, I did that for her.
Zoe, one last question for you. This movie has already, I believe, crossed the threshold of $500 million globally at the box office. It's going to spawn a sequel or two. If asked, would you don the Amazonian garb again?
I had the time of my life doing this film, so in a heartbeat, yes.
Zoe, thank you so much.
Thank you.